whatever reason, manufacturers seem to think that electric car buyers want an iPad grafted to a dash and nothing else, when what we actually want is this right here, a mom wagon with 500 horsepower. This is the GV70 electric, and it might be the best sleeper on the market. Let's have a look. The only thing on this car that will tip you off that it's electric is the lack of a grill right here. And also, if you press on this little logo, you get the charging port. Here we get up to 250 kilowatt DC fast charging, which will take you from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes. In a lab. In the real world, you're not going to see sustained charging rates that high, but at the same time, it does charge quite quickly. I think the design overall looks fantastic. I really like Genesis's double headlights here, even though the color of ours, I think, sucks. I would absolutely spend the extra money to get the matte paint. It looks so much better. Around the side, we've got some 20-inch rims, which I think look pretty cool, but this would probably look amazing on some rotiforms. We also have some massive 4-piston calipers. Over here, we've got door handles that just function like normal door handles. Incredible innovation, Genesis. And also we have auto dimming side mirrors. I absolutely love that. Around back, we've got what I think is the only mediocre angle of this car, kind of a flat arse to it, not a whole lot going on. But I do not care to admit how long it took me to figure out that the tailgate switch was up here. In the trunk, we've got not a whole lot of space. It seems like that the whole floor had to be brought up a little bit for those batteries on the bottom. And even under here, we've only got room for our charger and our little privacy cover. Not tons of space, but it is adequate. Back here, we've also got 12-volt power, 120-volt power, and manual releases for the rear seats. Very nice. Hopping into the back seat, this is an excellent spot to be. On a lot of EVs, because the battery has to be along the bottom, especially the rear seat headroom will be sacrificed. Here though, no problems at all. At 6 feet, I still have an inch or two of headroom here. And also you can recline the seats back to about here. We also have climate controls, rear seat heat, USB Type A, a nice little armrest, and a manual privacy screen so that your kids don't get too much sun on them. Hopping into the driver's seat, it is very clear that Genesis's materials engineers have been very hard at work. We've seen so much piano black recently on cars, but they've somehow managed to create a material that's an even bigger fingerprint magnet. And look at this. Oh my God. That is disgusting. You touch around here all the time. Every single time that you shift it into drive, use the infotainment, hit home, you are just smearing. Oh, look. Ugh. Once you fully finger this though, the rest of the materials are excellent. We don't have that stupid steering wheel from the GV60. We have just a proper leather one that feels so good. It's heated as well. Everything else here, aside from some of these capacitive buttons, feels great. Most of the controls that you want have dedicated switches. We've also got nice home buttons, and all of the infotainment can easily be controlled with this little knob right here. Like, sure, it is a bit of a reach if you do need to use the touchscreen, but 90% of the time, this is doing everything that I need it to. The tactility continues with the climate menu. We've got some excellent knobs here for the temperature, and although we do have a touchscreen for most of the controls, it works pretty well and everything stays in the same spot. Also, the cluster looks really good, although they do have a 3D effect that looks really sweet for about 5 minutes until you turn it off, because it just is so much easier to read without it on. For the seats, these are incredibly comfortable. They're heated, ventilated, we have bolster adjustment, lumbar adjustment, and even massage functions. In the passenger seat, things aren't quite as good. We don't have bolsters, we don't have lumbar, and we don't have massage function. Not that any of that is really a deal breaker. What is annoying though is that reaching this screen is very difficult. It's a bit of a reach for the driver too, but from the passenger side, using this control is a lot more difficult, especially like volume's a bit of a reach. It's really not that bad, but it's very clearly driver orientated and the passenger kind of just Fortunately though, the storage in here is great. We've got enough room in the cup holder for an LTDstore.com water bottle. We've got a nice spot for your sunglasses. That's something that seems to always be forgotten. Absolutely love to see it. We have got a nice big space here. We have an amazing panoramic sunroof. And down here, there's a Qi charger. Not that you'll ever actually use it because you don't have wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Enough screwing around though, let's launch into the segue to our sponsor. NordSecurity. Thank you to NordSecurity for sponsoring today's video. As the online world becomes a less than savory place, we have to take additional steps to stay protected. With NordSec, you can get access to a whole suite of tools to keep you and your personal info safe. And right now they're offering 4 months free on all Nord products. It's as easy as hitting up the link below or going to nordsecurity.com/shortcircuit. And with their 30-day money-back guarantee, there's nothing to lose. Again, that's nordsecurity.com/shortcircuit. Okay, time for a real launch. We've got it in sport mode, traction control off, and the most important thing, we have a boost button right here that takes us from 429 to 483 horsepower for 10 seconds. That, oh my goodness!
A revolutionary new ride.
It has a 0 to 60 of 4.2 seconds, and this boost button right here is the difference between the front wheels having traction and it trying to torque steer you into the ditch. It is quite a bit of fun. Just, oh my god. The poor suspension in this thing was very clearly designed around a car that does not have this kind of horsepower, because you can just huck it back and forth. It's hilarious. Boost mode. Oh! Try to take me into the left lane there. I would not recommend launching it in like traffic. Not that you should do that anyway. That said, this thing is no slouch in the corners. We can just huck it in here, use the throttle to balance it through the corner, and oh my, the amount of speed that you can carry through a corner is truly staggering given the 5,000 pound weight of this thing. But that said, it isn't perfect. This excellent handling that we're seeing right now comes at the expense of some extremely stiff anti-roll bars, which means that when you're going on sort of rough, bumpy things that aren't even side to side, you kind of get the you might get in like a car that you've modified with stiffer anti-roll bars. I do have to give Genesis props for how well they have tuned the suspension, but that said, it isn't perfect. This is 5,000 pounds of car, and it means that to control that much mass, the high-speed damping can be a little bit on the harsh side. Like, it's really strange going from a Prius to a massive luxury SUV, and the Prius is a bit more comfy over bumpy roads. That said though, for the most part, I would much rather be driving this thing. It is nearly silent in this cabin as long as you aren't on rough roads, largely in thanks to the active noise cancellation that the speakers are doing. Like, this is what, like one of the most quiet cabins we've been in, Andy? Top tier for sure, S tier. In here we have the 15 speaker sound system from Lexicon, and it is fantastic. The speaker locations are a bit strange. They're all on the door here, mids and tweeters. So your phantom image is kind of down here instead of up surrounding you, but otherwise it is fantastic. Now in the ICE version, you get a sub under each seat, whereas in this version, we have one less speaker and the sub is up in the dash, but the extension is very good, down to about 35 hertz. Now it is a little bit trebly for my tastes, and unfortunately the EQ is pretty much useless. The bands are just in the wrong spot, but overall, dang, it is good. Also in here are some of the best driver assists on the market. The adaptive cruise control is excellent and very confidence inspiring. Like, I went through some dirty north van traffic and just didn't even touch the steering wheel the whole time. It just drove me through all of that. Now the lane centering itself isn't great once you're going a little bit faster. I find it's kind of always making a bunch of micro adjustments, and I'd much rather drive myself than just worry about nannying this. But like, we're coming up right here, this person's stopping. It's very smooth, very confidence inspiring, and just great job, guys. Look, ma, no hands. Now, Genesis do have a whole bunch of safety systems in here that range from fantastic to downright annoying, but fortunately the annoying ones can be just fully disabled and you never have to worry about them again. Now, of course, no car is perfect, and this does have a bit of a flaw. The range. In here we only have a 77 kilowatt hour when I would expect something more in the 105 range for a car of this price and of this class. That said though, you still get 380 kilometers of range, and I've been pushing more like 400, so it is very livable for most people, but if you're road tripping, it'll be a problem. That said though, I really like this car. It is extremely comfortable, extremely quiet, and wicked fast. So the GV70 electric starts at just over $80,000 Canadian, and it stops at just over $80,000 Canadian. There's only a single spec, and it comes with everything that you see here. The only option is the pink color, which you should definitely change. I think this stacks up really well against the competition, like the Lyriq and the Model Y, if you're looking for something that is wicked powerful and very comfortable, and you're not too concerned about that range. I think that until we get solid state batteries, this is the best that an electric car is going to get. Sure, it's heavy, but you can hit this boost mode right here and absolutely love it. Just like I love you guys for watching this video. Hit like, get subscribed, and just have a fantastic old day. See you later. We'll have a cheap car next. Well, it's electric, it's pretty expensive.